as Malrika just said, if you're like starting off a PhD, and it's for if you want some advice, but it's in a group environment, so it's not an individual tutorial. But if you want to come and if you want to sign up to come, it's like come with your beginning ideas and what you want to share, and as a group we can kind of think of some guidance between us. That's hence calling it a workshop, or kind of processing your ideas. So it's not me talking at you, but me kind of guiding conversations in a smaller group environment for those of you setting out on your PhDs. Okay? Now, back to this afternoon, and for this, I said this afternoon it's round 3 because we've had an opening, a beginning, and now it's round 3, and I say round 3 because I'm going to show you a performance shortly which is set in a wrestling ring in rounds, but ours is round 3, and what I'm going to do in here is finish some more bits of information which are related to introducing the feminisms with an S, the 3 of them, in relation to forms of theatre, and just take about 15 minutes now to do that. Then I'm going to share with you a performance which takes about, it's an adaptation of a stage show which takes about 29 minutes, if I remember from the timing, in the screen adaptation. I'll explain that, what it is in the moment, and then I have some kind of a few pointers around that for you to think about while you watch it, and then we can finish with the discussion between us around that performance, which will wrap up some of the ideas that are being presented on this first afternoon. And I just thought, because we've got 3 rounds today, unlike the other days, it would be good to break it up with something you can watch for a bit, so we're not getting too fatigued out before the end of the day. Okay, so that explains how we're going forward for this last segment. So let's see if we're still working. So the feminisms then, that, and again remember Elaine, UK context, because these feminisms are ones that when they travel through different contexts and different times as well can change in what they signify. So for my context, these were the 3 feminisms that were important to the founding of feminist theatre that I've been talking about this afternoon. I have named them there as bourgeois feminism, radical feminism, socialist feminism. I've also put in brackets the other names that you might see them called, particularly if you look at the literature from North America. I think in the UK we kind of fairly use bourgeois and liberal feminism fairly interchangeably, both, and these days talk more about liberal feminism than bourgeois feminism. But in the North American context, they would talk more about cultural feminism rather than radical feminism, and materialist feminism rather than socialist feminism. So I'm sticking to the radical and socialist for my context, but in various of the literatures you will see that doubling coming up. Okay, so just to be aware of the naming there. So it's important, as I said just now, to think about feminisms plural in terms of the political dynamics of the feminist movement and the correlation of those dynamics in terms of feminist theatre aesthetics and the challenge to the male stream. So this is where I gave you the reading for today, Michelin Wander's discussion of those 3 feminisms as they were formally conceived in the British context. And so you've had that already to establish an understanding, but if I just headline, give you the tip of the iceberg now, in terms of bourgeois liberal feminism, these are bourgeois feminist strategies, and I think they are more strategies than a theory really. They're strategies to work through and with the state with the aim of ameliorating women's rights and opportunities. And hence why you see Michelin Wander also referring to this kind of feminism as emancipationism. So it's working through the state in terms of equality. it's often, in my context, being perceived as the popular face of feminism, as though it is feminism, and that's all it is. You know, there aren't any other strands there. Because it's focused on achieving equality, for example, through state legislation, it's more reformist. It's reformist rather than engaging with the notion of a radical transformation. So if you think for a minute, to give an example, if you've got a parliament and it has very few women MPs, a bourgeois feminist strategy is you lobby to get more women MPs in place, but you don't change the parliament structure. Okay, so it's reformist in that sense. It's not saying, right, we've got to rethink the whole structure of parliament. All we're trying to do is get more women into the same system. So it's more women at the top. And I've noted there is a very highly problematic legacy to do with this strand of feminism, because when it, back in the second wave movement, it had a very, I was going to say very important, it had a key role in kind of, you know, equality strategies, they are important, they're always important, but not if they get co-opted by what I've referred to here, and I'm sure you're all familiar with, neoliberalism. So that if it starts out with liberal equality strategies, which are in the interests of all women, reform strategies that might have an impact for all women, that disappears under neoliberalism, which adopts a creed of individualistic advancement. It loses the sense of any social collectivism, so it gets problematically distorted. Don't worry if that's not clear straight away. I will be coming back to it over the days with examples, okay? With radical feminism, the key thing with the radical feminism, which does argue for a radical transformation, the key thing is the contestation of patriarchalism, objecting to patriarchal systems. And it can take a pro-woman stance, might have a separatist goal, but if remember, anti-patriarchalism is the kind of like the key identifier of the radical feminist strand. And socialist feminism, okay, so patriarchy remains important to this strand. In the UK context, socialist feminism was always considered the most radical of all the strands and the one that most attention was drawn to, particularly in a feminist theatre-making context. The challenge here, okay, you hold on to being the patriarchal systems you want to change, like radical feminism, but the motivation here is also to work through issues of class and gender. So when you want to do that, you've then got the issue of having to contest socialism that's gender blind. Socialist ideas are dealing with class at this time, but not necessarily gender. So the question becomes, how do you make socialism feminist? How do you get kind of, you know what I was talking before about the male-dominated theatre groups on the left not creating spaces for women? So how do you encourage and develop change by getting them to see the need to actually challenge their own patriarchal views within a socialist left-wing context? Yeah? So there are challenges there. But the socialist feminism strand is the one that initially conjugates class and gender, and as it evolves, then also takes in questions that relate to race and sexuality and so forth. So it becomes, over the time, more intersectional. Now, this is the correlating part to do with theatre, how aesthetics correspond to each of those feminisms. In terms of bourgeois feminism, that is the kind of those are the kind of feminist dynamics that are going to be allied with the most conservative forms. Again, remember, least radical. So it was often the case that you would find bourgeois feminist dynamic operating in the terrain of realism, which has a very, very strong tradition in British theatre. Especially so since, well, it dates back further than the 20th century, but in terms of the mid-20th century and the advent of Look Back in Anger and our famous kitchen sink plays and all of that, it becomes very established at this kind of centre of new playwriting. So it's that really strong tradition. So realism is where you're more likely to find liberal bourgeois feminism. Again, you're advocating not changing the theatre industry. You're saying let's get more women on stage. Let's have more women-centred stories. But you're not looking to kind of radically change the setup. Okay. In terms of the radical or the cultural feminist aesthetic, well, that's in its more radical form, did encourage a very different shift. And I think in the North American literature, it kind of expresses it better in terms of what was being achieved than in terms of looking to the possibilities of a women's language in theatre. I know we got very excited about that for the time, about, you know, what does it mean if you could develop a women's language? What does that feel like? What does it sound like? What's the kind of physicality to it? How do you, what is it? I mean, everybody understood that the kind of the dominant, like, realist structures were objectifying women more often than not. But what's the alternative? And it's fraught with questions about essentialism. You know, is it that kind of femaleness? It wasn't straightforward, but it was a kind of exciting idea to think about. What does, you know, if you can move, you can work through the textures of women's bodies and the bodies to stories. What does that feel like? What does that give you as an aesthetic? And I will say more about that tomorrow. But the third one, and this is the one that I've said was the most significant in the UK context, is the socialist feminist aesthetics. And these are the aesthetics that went very much with, to simplify it, the presentational methods rather than representational. Think of representational brings you back into that conventional frame where women are more likely to be othered as the objects or the objectified than be the subjects of the drama, which is what women were trying to achieve. And later in the week we have also the whole session on the socialist feminism. I'll be able to talk more about particularly the influence of the Brechtian tradition in relation to the socialist feminist dynamics. Again, I'm just flagging them up for now, so don't worry if you're, because I am aware that everybody's coming from different disciplines, so some may be familiar and some may be, oh my goodness, what's that? But don't worry, these headlines, they will be bedded down throughout the week, so if they're unfamiliar now, they will become more familiar as the week goes on. And if they're already familiar, you can think of it as a revision exercise. Okay, so those are the three feminisms, the three aesthetics. So let's have the performance, so we can all have a bit more. Oh, Elaine's not going to be talking to us for another half an hour. And let me introduce the piece we're going to see is Trafford Tansey, set in a wrestling ring. The story of a woman wrestler. Now, it's very hard. I was trying to think, what can I show you as a performance? Not just like archival photographs, but to actually have a bit of a performance for you that relates to the period that I've been talking about this afternoon. And of course, it's very difficult in terms of getting hold of materials from this period. So, but this is one that I can come up with. As I say, what you're going to see is an adaptation for television, not cinema. It's made for TV. So it comes out as a short adaptation by Claire Lockham, who wrote the original play. And I think you can kind of see in it some of the consciousness raising that we've been talking about in terms of how it's set up. I'm always interested in pieces of theatre generally that involve a kind of sporting motif, and in particular those like this one, where the performers also have to be able to manage some of the sport to be able to actually enact the show itself. So when you see the performers in this, kind of note that some of the wrestling moves they've got there may be a bit basic compared to actual professional wrestlers, but they did have to actually train up to be able to do it. But if I can make this paragraph first, so I just taught the first paragraph. So it starts, this play, the origins of it, this play came out in 1978, so, you know, in that period when those theatre groups that I headlined earlier were set up or just about to set up. And it was first done regionally in the Liverpool Everyman Theatre, which is a small repertory theatre in the northwest of England. And it managed to move from there into mainstream theatre, commercial theatre, and eventually onto the TV screen. So it had this phenomenal lifeline for a piece that starts out as a kind of women's protest piece, really. It's kind of interesting history behind it. And whilst it's described on this slide, which you can look at in more detail afterwards, is the beginnings of it. The Everyman had shut for some refurbishment at the late 70s. And when they reopened, they created Trafford, well, what became Trafford Tansy was created as an equality initiative, as in when they'd previously been operating with male-dominated casts and male-dominated audiences. So in the reopening, they wanted to equalise it. And then they had the problem, well, when they looked for scripts that might equalise, balance out a cast, they couldn't find them. So it ended up with Claire Lockham writing this piece, Trafford Tansy. Okay. These are the things to think about while you're watching it. To think about the feminist dynamics that you feel are in the show as you watch. The patriarchal setup, the control of the gaze, because it's an adaptation for the screen, the camera becomes quite important in relation to gazing in this piece. Use of stereotyping, there's quite a lot of stereotyping going on this in relation to gender and class, and to think about the popular form of the whole piece as a consciousness raising model. Okay? You got that? Those few points. And for any of the reflections that we do now or into week, where there'll be some other kind of moments of short clips maybe to see, I always want to think of us in the feminist spectator as critic position. That's our position for the week. So when we're looking at it, we're looking at it from that, through that feminist lens. That's our position. Okay? So now we've got the technology bit of switching over to the file, so I can try and get the copy of the performance to play. Let's see if we can make this work. Right. Just use fingers to minimize it. It hasn't, it's done there but not there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You see, if no, it's not. If I close this one, yeah, okay. Wait, let me close this without that. It's not yet changing.
Okay.
No. Okay, now it's changing. Yeah. Okay.
Now you want to close that one to...
Yeah, minimize. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
All right. So now it's. Come on. Might want to dim. See how it comes up.
Trafford Tansy, a female wrestler fighting for her rights as well as her title.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, top of the bill tonight, Countdown Promotions proudly presents for the first time in any wrestling ring, a man and a woman fighting to the finish. The woman, ladies and gentlemen, is the reigning European Ladies Champion Trafford Tansey. The man, the ever-popular Dean Rebel. Have you ever asked yourself what it takes for a lady to become a winner? Are they born or are they bred? In 8 dazzling rounds, Countdown Promotions will attempt to answer these questions and many more. Countdown Promotions proudly presents the exclusive Trafford Tansey story. Told, ladies and gentlemen, with the help of members of the Wrestling Fraternity. An old school friend played by my gorgeous assistant Platinum Sue.
Go for it, go for it, go, go, go!
Allow me to introduce to you that lucky lady, Tansey's mum. Tansey's dead. Yeah! All the world loves a villain. I'm only joking. The man who taught us so much, Dean Rebel. And the little lady herself, the reigning European Ladies Champion, Trafford Tansey. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trafford Tansey story. Can I have the contestants, please, for round 1? Oh, Tansey's childhood. And in the red corner, Trafford Tansey, and in the blue corner, her opponent for round 1, Tansey's mum.
She's a credit to me, she is, our Tansey.
A mum in a million. Ladies and gentlemen, round 1.
Our Tansey. Come on, love. Give us a smile. I wanted a boy and look what I got. Yeah! Got a girl all covered in snot. Yeah! Yeah!
Hey, ref, stop her.
Oh, no slapping, missus.
No slapping. She's got to learn, hasn't she? Who else is going to teach her life's dangerous? Now, Tansey, don't stick your fingers in the electric plugs. Don't touch the iron. Don't go out in the street. And don't go talking to them men in long grey macks.
No, you're getting it all wrong. My Tansey's a good girl. She's beautiful. Apple of her dad's eye.
We were all spoiling her, weren't we?
Oi, do you use your fist then, missus?
Did you see me use my fist?
No, but I've got to ask.
Dad's little girlie, ain't you? Dad's little sugar.
She were all a disappointment to us. I mean, who wants a girl, eh? You could have had a boy. Because, I mean, well, a boy's a boy, isn't he? And, well, they grow up into men, don't they? Oh, men are wonderful, aren't they, eh? They tell you what to do. They tell you how to do it. If they've got out left over. They give you housekeeping money and all, don't they? And I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in round 1. Mum!
Yes!
A big hand for Mum, please. Showing us all how to do it. Oh, thank you.
Oh, Dad were all supporting her, weren't he? Till she come home from school one night.
Mum,
She says,
can I have a career?
well, I thought, I'll let her dad sort it out.
Ladies and gentlemen! Round 2. Tansey is sweet 16. Oh, watch it, you. And in the red corner. And watch you don't let her get away with anything.
Just keep out of my face, you.
Tansey's down.
Come on, you great pudding, you're holding up the action.
Action, she says. She wants some action. I'll give you some action, Ted. Right, you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, round 2.
You're late. Where have you been?
Same as every night. At school. It's the truth.
Yes, pull the other one.
Listen, I can't work here because me
Mum
mum...
has to tell you on all the time and you can't concentrate. I've heard it all before.
Well, it's true.
I'll tell you whether it's true or not, my girl. You hear me? A career. Don't you but Dad me either. When people are crying out for jobs, don't make me laugh. Tell you what, you just forget all about wanting a career. I'll give you 50 quid, 50 notes to spend on yourself. You can get the lot. Get yourself a decent outfit, some makeup. Get yourself a decent fella, one that wants to marry you. I mean, come on. It's all your mum and dad ever wanted.
I don't
to get married. I want a career. I want to be somebody.
Somebody! A wife is somebody, isn't she? You're trying to tell me that your mother isn't somebody?
No.
Marriage, that's the best career money can buy.
I want some exams.
You want some exams? You pay for them. You earn your own living. See how you like that? Yes!
Do you submit?
Yes.
In the round two, a submission to that by means of a Boston Crab! Oh, come on, Tansy. Not the waterworks, for God's sake. Oh. All right, quick. Go on, can I have the contestants for round three, please? Tansy is now luscious 18 and working down the local chippy. And in the blue corner, the ever-popular Mr. Dean Rebel! Ladies and gentlemen, round three.
Yes.
Liver dinner for one with chips, rice, peas, meat and potato pie, sausage, pancake roll. Oh, and stick a bit of fish on the side just to finish it off. What's up, girl? You're crying all over the fish. Oh, yeah. I'm not too fussy, but don't go for too much salt with it. Do you know what I mean? Oh, come on, cheer up. It might never happen. Here. Oh, I'm going to use my hanky. I hate to see a girl cry. Go on, take it.
No.
All right. I'll do it for you. Come here. Now. Better? Here. You got nice eyes. Really, you have. Much too nice to waste frying chips. I mean, what do they know about love, eh? I suppose I better put my hanky away. Oh, bit of a tight fit. What with the 3-piece suite and that. Yeah, I'm not going to tell me you didn't know what we kept hidden away down there, are you?
Oh, watch your mouth, Rebel!
Don't be nosy. Feeling better? Better and better, eh? I mean, I knew you was tasty, but I didn't know you was delicious. What's your name?
Tansy.
Hi, Tansy.
Aye.
Don't bother to wrap yourself up, I'll eat you now.
Oh, not too close, Rebel. Is that your name?
Yeah. Dean Rebel, training to be a professional wrestler. Come over here and try me folded body part.
No!
Oh, I can see it's time for a touch of the old romance. Flowers for the one I love.
That's a ticket.
Flowers? Jesus, do you think I'm soft or something? Go give them to your old lady.
Oh. Vinegar as well, eh? You're fantastic, Tansy. We were made for each other.
A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A break in round 3. Hey, a knockout to Mr. Dean Rebel.
Yeah.
All right, break. Come on, I'm gonna break this down.
Oh, to think of it. My little girl married. Our Tansy. The wedding night. The honeymoon.
Round 4. Can I have the contestants, please, for round 4? And in the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, that very lovely lady, that lucky girl, Mrs. Dean Rebel, eh? And in the blue corner, also in the red corner, her old man, Mr. Dean Rebel. Ladies and gentlemen, round 4.
Oh, it's so early in the morning.
The dew's still on the grass. What a morning. The morning chorus. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Dean's a professional wrestler now. The most important part of a wrestler's career is his training. Dean. Dean, time to get up.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tansy.
Oh, Dean.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, cleaned your shoes, I've ironed your towel, I've oiled your stopwatch, and I've packed the knapsack with tea and sandwiches for 2 and wait for training!
Good girl. I'm ready. Oh, yeah, you better carry the knapsack. Don't want me straining my shoulders, do we? I mean, a wrestler's muscles should be flexible at all times. Write that down, Tansy.
Wrestlers...
You remember to bring the stopwatch?
Yes, Dean.
Good girl. Now, when I say go, I want you to press the little button on the top. Do you understand?
Yes, Dean.
Right. Ready?
Yeah?
Steady! Go! Ah! I feel fantastic! You know that, Tansy? Best I ever felt! Top of the world! Moving like grade A, well-oiled clockwork! Up, down. Try this, Tansy. Chest easy. Hamstrings cool. Tansy? Write this down, Tansy. A wrestler would be nothing. Nothing
Nothing.
without the loving support
Without.
of a good woman, his wife.
No contest, no contest. Bell! Break! Now look, you two, get this into your heads. The paying public doesn't want to know about marital bliss. They've paid their money to see the fighting, the blood and thunder. Now come on! Give us the dirt!
Dirt? What dirt? Our Tansy was perfection. Credit to me, she was. Men never know when they're well off.
Not when they can have their cake and eat it.
Round 5.
Tansy, Pat! Lovely to see ya! Oh, hello. Do we know you? Of course you do! Mind you, a lot of people don't recognise me since I went into the beauty business. Funny, isn't it? I'm Sue, your mate from school, remember? Oh, yes, I do remember. Oh. You're married now, aren't you, Pat? Yes. How did you know? Well, your hair's all anyhow. No makeup. Carpet slippers. You look like some of the cats sicked up. Well, I was just popping out to the shops. I've got nothing in for tea. I'd never let myself go like that. I mean, you don't want him looking at anyone else, do you? Not that I don't envy your mind. 'Course, I've had me chances. But you know my mum, she brought me up to be particular about marriage.
What?
Well, I suppose you can't all be lucky. My fella's terrific. Is he? Yeah. Bit of all right. Yeah. Loves you to distraction, does he? Yeah, I know what you mean, though. Yeah. I'm in love at the moment. Oh, ever since I turned professional at the beauty business, I carry the boards around between each round at wrestling. Well, I met this fella, middleweight, muscles all over the place, turns me knees to jelly. What's his name? I'm not going to tell you that, am I? All right, then. Well, actually, it's Dean. Dean Rebel. Course, he's married.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, come on!
Ring the bell, please.
Somebody ring!
Ring the bell. 7. Come on. 8. Bell. 9. Bell. Oh, that was a piece of luck, wasn't it? Well, bad luck, I mean, Tansy. Saved by the bell, wasn't she? And, anyway. It's time you stop living in cloud cuckoo land.
A girl needs a mother at a time like this.
Oh, Mum.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 6.
There, Mummy's here now.
He doesn't love me.
He doesn't care after all I've done for him, the training.
Come on, dry your eyes.
Oh, how could he do it, Mum? Mum, let me come home. I want to start all over again.
Don't say that. Dean's your husband. You promised to love and obey him.
Well, I'll divorce him.
Tansy, life is not a bowl of cherries.
Oh, Mum, let me come home.
No! You've made your bed, you may lie on it. Besides, your dad can't afford to keep you.
Well, I'll get a job. I'll earn me living.
Dean loves you in his own way.
Oh, Mum.
And that platinum sushi might not be my cup of tea, but she knows how to look after herself. You've let yourself go, my girl. Nobody wants something that looks as if it's been thrown off rubbish tip, do they? And anyway, what choice have you got? Eh?
OK, Mum. I'll go back to Dean.
Yes, that's my good girl. You need a man to look after you at a time like this. Women are nothing alone.
Yeah!
Ow! What are you doing? That hurts!
I'm practicing. I'm going back to Dean. I've done all the training, and I'm gonna be a professional wrestler as well.
Not natural, is it? Women wrestling.
Monday! It's like one of those little plants. I mean, they look all nice and pretty. 2, and all of a sudden, snap, they've caught their prey and eaten it alive. 3, breaker!
Venus flytraps, thanks very much, Dean. I think that's what I'll call it.
In the round 6, the winner by means of a Venus flytrap, the winner, Terraford Tansy!
What are you two looking at? At least she's got a mother's spirit. Go on.
Come on!
Manchester in round 6, the winner by means of a Venus flytrap, the new Northern Area Ladies Champion, Terraford Tansy.
Fight! You must always be training. Fight! You must always be fit. Fight! You must always be working. Fight! If she stops, then she's gonna get hit.
In Liverpool, in round 5, her opponent is unable to continue. The winner by means of a Venus flytrap, the new British Ladies Champion, Terraford Tansy.
Smashes and chops. Fight using drop kicks and headbutts. Fight and you don't ever stop.
In Dusseldorf, in round 2, the winner by means of a Venus flytrap, the new European Ladies Champion, Terraford Tansy.
Hey, I never knew she had it in her. She's made her old dad proud. Fancy becoming European Ladies Wrestling Champion after just 1 season. Fancy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 7. And in the blue corner, Tansy's manager.
Manager? I haven't got a manager.
Listen to the ref, Tansy. He knows what he's talking about. I'm your manager now.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 7.
Don't be soft, Dad. I'm over 18.
Tansy, be reasonable. You're just a slip of a girl. I mean, a slip of a woman. Your mum will be made up when she hears the terms. It's most generous of you, Tansy. 50%. Couldn't have asked for better myself.
Dad!
And anyhow, I've already fixed up your first fight. Mud wrestling in Hamburg, naked. I'll make a fortune.
Right! This is what I think of your contract, Dad.
Well, hey, what about your mother? Who's going to support her?
Oh, tough
In round 7, her father is unable to continue. Ladies and gentlemen, round 8. And in the blue corner, Tansy's long-suffering husband, Dean Rebel. Shut up! Ladies and gentlemen, round 8.
Tansy,
Dean,
where have you been?
training.
Training. You're always bleeding training. I ain't born no more, Tansy. Tansy, I love you.
Look.
Don't you love me no more?
If I don't train, I won't get anywhere, will I? I'll lose me title. You should try it as well.
What?
training. You lost your last fight.
Well, that was arranged.
Oh, was it? And who was always telling me he was above that sort of thing? A wrestler must fight to win, Tansy. I wrote that down. I tell you what, I think you're slipping.
And whose fault's that then, eh? I mean, I come home from work. Do I find a hot meal waiting for me? No. There's a note on the table saying your salad's in the fridge. Well, that is not how champions is maintained, you know.
Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be, is it? A servicing unit? Get off your arse and you try doing something for a change. You know, it's not impossible.
Yeah, I would, if I wanted to, but I don't, see. I mean, why keep a dog and bark myself, eh? I mean, I haven't got a sock that hasn't got a hole in it. It's embarrassing. What'd my mum say if she found out?
Now look, we've been through all this. And I can't do it all. Not the training, the fighting, the travelling and everything here. It's just not possible.
Well, that is all I wanted to hear, is that, Tansy? I mean, if you can't do both things, then you can either do one thing or the other, eh? No compromises. So either you decide to be my wife, or off you trot. Be a lady wrestler, but don't expect no support from me. Lady wrestler. It's unnatural. The only places ladies should wrestle is in bed. Hey, I'll fight you there if you like.
That's the only place you think I've got a chance.
Yeah. Well, what's it to be then?
I don't know.
Right, well, I'll decide.
No, you bleeding won't!
Am I going to have to thump you?
Yes! But in the ring. And I tell you what, if I lose, I will give up wrestling and become a housewife.
Now you're talking.
But if you lose, you give up wrestling and be a housewife.
Do what?
You heard. What is the matter? Scared of losing, lost your bottle?
No chance. Right. You're on.
All right, you two. Save it for the big fight. Gentlemen, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, the big fight. The fight of the decade.
And in the blue corner, the ever popular Mr. Dean Reynolds. And in the red corner, the reigning European Ladies Champion, Trafford Tansy.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the loser of tonight's contest has agreed to quit the wrestling ring and become a housewife. Seconds away, round one.
Oh, come on, ref, he's doing his
Come on, come on.
Come on.
Go on, Tansy, keep going. Love you, Dave. Yeah.
Feet on the ropes. What a shame.
Yeah.
Ropes breaker.
Did you see that? What are you
Ladies and gentlemen, the first fall by means of a folding body press to Trafford Tansy.
Yes!
Seconds away, round two.
Oh, come on, Tansy. Come on, shake hands.
Oh, what? Don't.
Come on, we were lovers. Come on, Tansy. Don't. Fair fight.
Oh, no, come on, Tansy. Don't, Tansy, don't. Go for your wrestling move. Don't do it.
Come
Don't
on,
do it, girl.
Don't. Shake
Don't.
hands. Come on.
Don't do it.
Come on.
Yeah. It wasn't a punch. It was a punch.
Oscar! You want to see a punch? Yeah, right. What? I love you, lad. Yeah? I love you, lad. Oh, yeah?
Ladies and gentlemen, in round 2, a public warning to Dean Rebel.
I can't help you if you show me.
That's right, Rev. You're right there, Rev.
Oscar!
You submit!
No!
Oscar!
Submit!
No!
Oscar!
Do you submit?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, in round 2, an equalising submission by means of a backbreaker over the shoulder to Mr. Dean Rebel!
Listen, you can win this. You can win this.
Seconds away. Round 3.
Yes! Now what are you going to do, Rebel?
Oh, what's the matter, Dean? Come on, get up. Come on. Come on.
Come on, girl. You can do it. Come on, you can win this.
Ladies and gentlemen, in round 3, the winner, Trafford Tansey! And a big hand for the gallant loser and soon-to-be a housewife, Dean Rebel!
But tonight, the winner in the fight of the decade, fighting to save her wrestling career and winning by means of a Venus flytrap is Trafford Tansey!
I want a rematch! I want a rematch!
Oh, wait, let's go down. No, this is the last slide.
Yeah.
Further.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Right, we've got them back. Okay, so back in the light instead of the dark. I should explain that when you saw this as a live performance, it could be at a theatre, it could be in a real wrestling ring, they were in pubs, they were in clubs. So the thing that you don't get when you get the screen adaptation is the spectator response. Because particularly when they stage the fight at the end, as an audience, particularly the kind of whoever was in the referee role would play it up, so they're encouraging the audience to hiss, boo, or cheer for whoever. And I remember the last time I saw it, which was in a theatre venue in the 80s, by then everything had got rather perverse. So everybody was deliberately going against the grain of the piece by booing Tansy and cheering on Dean Rebel, which was a kind of different mode to when it first started out. So you have to kind of like imagine, and I mean, students used to love doing this piece, particularly if they could get actually hold of a wrestling ring and sort of do it in there, and get us in that kind of a space. As I said, I chose it because it's hard to find something that captures the kind of feel, the consciousness-raising feel from that period. So it's one of the kind of remaining popular political pieces that we can actually look at to take us back to that moment. So with these prompts that I suggested to think about, can you again do the same thing just by turning around in the room like you did before, to focus on the prompts, to gauge reactions? You don't have to stick to the prompts. There might be other things you want to say about this performance in relation to any of the points raised this afternoon, as we've set out. Does that make sense? Yes, nods. Okay, so we'll just take 10 minutes like that, and we'll have another round of sharing, and then we can wrap up for the day, okay? Right. Okay, so as we're running out of time now, I'm told, and I'll just take 1 second to thank people online for coming up with discussion points and that, and we're going to try and extract the comments that have been shared online so that we can look at them tomorrow and maybe feedback on that a bit. But for now, again, last bit of sharing from the round table discussions, just any quick headlines that have come up. I like one from over here where you're thinking about talking by the end, who is celebrating the win? I thought that was a really good question. I was just saying, if you saw it in the theatre in the earlier times when you had a kind of strong feminist contingent in the audience, you would have a kind of feminist celebration, but in the way that it's screened, it's left, who is supporting this working class woman who wins and no longer has to be a housewife? Some kind of utopia there. Anything else that's come up? Well, they're all chatting away. Unless you were discussing where you're going for the evening instead of the performance, I don't know.
It's a very powerful play.
Yeah?
Very powerful.
It's kind of dated now, but as I say, it does give you a sense of that time and how popular political theatre can work in kind of raising an issue. Come on, let's have right, I want 2 more comments before I let you go. Yay. Go on then. You want the mic?
So we were discussing amongst us, and there were one question that we had was, like you said, that towards after almost 2 decades of that performance, towards the end the audience sort of flipped. Yes. Was it because it had acquired, from going from a small production to a mainstream production and then TV, it had acquired a sort of its own fan base, and now they wanted to, because there are such rigid positions within the play, so they wanted to sort of audience wanted to add their own variety to it, or sort of make it a bit more interesting?
I don't think it was really a question of a fan base. It didn't have such a following in that way dedicated to the performance. I think it was to do with the shift into the 80s and the backlash against feminism. That's what was driving the different reaction. Because I remember the audience was quite young, I was there. I'd taken a group of theatre students, and the theatre was generally of a younger generations, and it was the backlash climate. It was hitting that post-feminism, don't want to do it. So it got, the reversal was there. It was done in a semi-affectionate way, but it was still there. As in, we know we're saying the wrong, we know we're booing in the wrong places, but it was still there. That's what I would put it down to.
The other thing that we discussed is we understand that the timing of the play, the time, like the gap between how we see it now and how it is then. Some of the things that, like say, using the metaphor of or analogy of wrestling, sort of in a way, sort of having two oppositions rather than a collective, uh, because the husband is also struggling with this whole domestic idea. He says that you're not there as a wife. So this gender roles that have been imposed on him, and he doesn't know how to get out of it, or the way she goes back to her parents. Komita said, like, in the end, she goes back to her parents despite having had a traumatic childhood.
Yeah, and I think one of the, in terms of, if you think about the feminist dynamics for a minute, I think it's predominantly in that bourgeois feminist terrain, isn't it? Woman on top, woman wins out, okay? There's no solidarity between the women, which would take us into the radical feminist terrain. We do get a sense of a critique of objectification, because we get the ridiculous stereotypes and the send up of that. Slightly uncomfortable with the class stereotypes, because class isn't there, I think, well, in my view, class isn't there so much to pursue those kind of socialist issues around class as just the kind of working with those class-based and gender-based stereotypes in that arena to make the popular political piece. And so you're working with rather than... really? You're working with those stereotypes. You're not challenging them, I guess, is what I would say. But the absence of solidarity, and that comes back to the who's celebrating at the end, I think is a key one. I'm doing all the talking again. Let's have... Right. One more before we finish up.
As you have already mentioned that in that video or the video we watched just now, the woman or Trafford did not have anyone to go back to in her vulnerable moments. In the very beginning, when she's 18, and she is very vulnerable because she's emotionally not a good shape, because she has been beaten down by her own family because she wants to not marry so soon, or maybe wants to have a career. And then suddenly the guy comes in her life, this college heartthrob who's liked by all, but he only comes in her life when she's very sad and emotionally not in a perfect shape. And in the ring as well, when the match is being played, in the second round, I guess he uses this tactic once again. He tries to make her remember the time they had spent together as a good couple. They love each other, of course. They can't be doing this. And of course, for a moment, she also goes in that memory and loses her strength for a while and loses that round, the second round. It's completely based on emotional tactic. And I think it suggests one important thing for feminism is, because I remember reading Chimamanda Ngozi, she writes about it, that feminists are seen as women who don't have any emotion, who can't love a man, who cannot remember the good time they had with the family, who cannot do anything that requires any sentimentality or compassion or empathy. But it's not true. They are very much humane in that sense. I think Gulikan, Ethics of Care, I'm forgetting the name of the person who writes about it, she said that they of course care, women care, but they are only trying to care a little more about themselves now. That's the only problem that people tend to have. And so that's a good point. Actually, that's a good interjection in trying to negate all those ideas which are spreading around, vilifying women or vilifying feminists as those women who cannot have any notion of emotion for that.
Yeah, I'd also recommend I don't know if this is working or not. Is it? Is it? Sarah Ahmed and the idea of the figure of the feminist as a killjoy was actually and we on Wednesday I have got some time where will get us to talking about the image of the feminist and stereotypes. So I think this is going to kind of come circling back for us. Absolutely. So that's very helpful. What there was one other the gaze. Anybody talk in the group about the gaze? That's what I was going to ask. Like the camera work. How does it work?
It depends on the setting of that social context and differs to continent, region to region. So gaze is not a construct that we can define that this is the gaze. It would be going to differ. I would say social context would going to have a factor.
Okay. So in this
I would
performance,
I think this, as my fellow mate said that he clearly says that when she became in 18, so she was not confident enough of her body, and then she just had some kind of a confidence after some years. So that's the context that I'm trying to connect it.
okay, and
we were also talking about that. First of all, she is constantly being sexualized because first there's a sweet 16, then when she's 18 and all of this is happening, and even within the form itself, within the wrestling and how the camera moves, and there's always a gaze, and they're also playing with this, and also within the play itself there's always a gaze on her. And also we were thinking how the audience also plays into this, because it's the form of a wrestling match, the audience is also pulled into this. We are also gazing at her in the same sense that the commentator or the referee is telling us, yes, and how the camera is going. But that Nisha was also mentioning, but it's not only her, even the men are also sexualized in this to some extent, because even the referee is also, even the Dean Rebel character is very much, hypersexualized, and even the commentator. So maybe it's also playing with the form of this popular form of wrestling.
And especially her mother. Her mother was also being sexualized first. The mother figure was being sexualized first. Before, when she fought with her daughter, she was also being sexualized, and when she came up, her dress up and how she carries, she puts up that you have to be like this and this, and how referee was gazing her mother during the win-win situation when she won, and how the referee was gazing towards her mother, was you have to be this feminine. Yes. That's why your mother won, and you.
So the camera in that way does some of the looking at to be looked at-ness.
Yeah.
So it draws our attention to it. So you start to get a critical edge to it. Good. Fabulous. Okay, so we will go for round 2 tomorrow, when we move on to looking at realism. Okay? Right. Thank you very much, and I see everybody tomorrow.